All right. Well, hello. Welcome to Journalism 180. My name is Zach Posada. I'm your instructor for the class. You probably received the video I sent out a bit ago as just sort of a quick overview on the class and how to get involved with the modules. I haven't recorded that video yet, so I don't know really what I said in it. I wanted to do all the sort of class videos first so I could show you the completed modules in that video. So if I repeat myself from there, I apologize in advance. But today we're going to get into just an overview of the class and the syllabus. All right. So I'm sharing my screen now. Right. There we go. Okay, so again, this is module 1, the syllabus and class overview. I'm going to talk a little bit more about how to execute the modules in this class. So again, just a bit of recap from the video I sent out. Again, I probably sent this out Friday is my goal, Friday before class. Our class begins on August 18th. That's the first official day of the class. That's when all the modules are available and when all the assignments are open. So just as a quick sort of introduction, this is a flexible online class. So what that means is we don't have scheduled meetings. Essentially, this class is up to you how you want to approach it for completion. The way you're going to sort of process through this is module to module. So just to kind of give you a better visual here, I'm going to stop the share on my PowerPoint and I'm going to go to our Canvas page. So this is what the Canvas page will look like. It might look a little bit different by the time you see it. There might be another module up top before the syllabus and class overview. But for the most part, this is what you will see. And I'm just going to use my Spotlight tool. So I have all the modules set to be our home page. So as soon as you access our Canvas page, you will be on the module page. You can also always just click modules to come here as well. I tried to organize this class just like I would for my face-to-face or scheduled online. The only difference is that I'm recording my lectures by myself and giving you the lectures to access on your own time. So the way you're going to sort of complete this class is just working module to module, and I numbered each one. So for example, right now we are in module 1, syllabus and class overview. Again, I'm recording these as I go here. So by the time you see this, you'll see a video for this lecture within the module. But in addition to that, the link to the video, which will probably be through Zoom or a YouTube link, you'll also have the PDF for the PowerPoint of the day, or of the module, I should say, and a PowerPoint file of it. So the presentations will always be available to you. They're also in files, but I'll get to that later. The syllabus PDF is on here. You can also access the syllabus at MCC Syllabus. All right, and I'll come back to that in a bit, but that's very important for this class because your schedule is also on the syllabus when all of your assignments are due, listed on the syllabus, which is very important. And I'll talk about this a little bit later on, but I have the Canopy walkthrough video linked in here, which I'll talk about in a bit, and also the Canopy website. So again, this is just each module is in its own separate category. So once you complete syllabus and class overview, you watch the video that you're watching right now. Check out the files that are in there. We'll just move on to the next module, which will be making of a scene. PowerPoint and the PDF is in here. Again, the video file will also be in here by the time you get to it. And again, I probably will go through this in the video I send out, but I'm just kind of, that's what I'm looking for, reinforcing. Film history. So this is the first one that I just kind of want to show you really quick. Again, you'll have the presentation. There'll also be a video file in here, but notice you have your first assignment. So every assignment will also be linked per its module. So quiz 1 is going to be on everything from film history and before. So modules 1 through 3. And you'll see there's a due date already on there, September 1st. You see the amount of points. So just keep track of that. As you go through module, you'll have additional links and you'll have assignments with due dates. Okay, so I'll talk a little bit more about that, but I just wanted to show you. You have, I believe, 18 modules total. Yes, 18 modules total. Which again, I'll probably be talking about in the video I send out to you, but I just wanted to make sure I talk about it now. So let me go back to my PowerPoint. Okay, so again, really the way you're gonna take this class is you have 16 weeks to complete the course. There are 18 modules. It's up to you how you want to sort of navigate that. But the one concrete thing is when your assignments are due, right? There's no flexibility with that. So essentially you can complete this class as quickly as you want. Everything is open to you on August 18th. That being said, it's not like you can wait in December, right? December 1st to start working through your modules. So make sure to work module to module. Each one is numbered with its topics. Also, each module will have a prerequisite. The prerequisite will be watching the video that's linked in the module. As long as you view that file, you'll be able to move to the next module. I want to make this very clear. My presentations, right, my videos, the recorded lectures that I'm doing will have the presentation in there, my lecture, any videos that I show a lot of videos in this class, and usually when I'm with, a face-to-face or scheduled online, it's very interactive, right? So I'll show a video and I'll ask you questions. That's going to be a little bit different for us. That being said, I would like you to try to approximate that. So make sure to watch and participate with the lecture videos, the recordings that I post. Watch and participate with the videos for every module. Make sure to watch the entire thing. I don't think this is a very difficult class. That being said, you have to watch the entire recorded lecture presentation. The PowerPoints won't be enough, right? You have to actually watch the presentations, have me talk about it. Again, I'm going to show you, we watched like over 60 clips in this class that all demonstrate concepts that we're talking about, and they're sort of check-in questions. So when I have those check-in questions, I'm not going to answer them right away, right? Normally in class I wouldn't. I'd have you guys do that, but that's going to be different for us. So I'm going to literally be asking questions and kind of pause. And when I pause, try to reflect, right? Try to answer those questions on your own so you can start unlocking these concepts. And then eventually I'll kind of, walk you through, what I was trying to demonstrate with those videos. Okay, so just pretend like you're in class. When you come in, block out between an hour and a half to 2 hours and 50 minutes to just watch through the video. Again, the video will contain the presentation, any clips that are embedded within the presentation. So just pretend like you're coming to class when you come to a module. So yes, my videos will include my lecture, the presentation, and any, I should rephrase, clips that I screen here. I'll also explain assignments that are assigned per module. So some assignments, for example, the analysis paper, you need me to kind of clarify that. Same thing with the reflection papers. So make sure, again, watch the entire video before you do the assignment for that module so I can explain everything. I already mentioned this, but make sure you complete the assignments by the due date. The assignment due date will keep you on track for where you should be at throughout the semester. Also, a quick note, I have the due dates on the syllabus and they're noted in all the assignment descriptions, but just to keep this in mind, the assignments are always going to be due by the end of that day, so 11:59 p.m. You'll have up until 11:59 p.m. of that due date to submit it through Canvas. So I just kind of want to show you this really quickly. I'm going to stop sharing the presentation. I'm going to move over to our syllabus, which I'll talk about later. There we go. So this is our syllabus. I'll go over this in depth today, but I'm just going to scroll to the assignment schedule. And let me use my little cool annotate tool. So again, our first assignment is quiz 1, which is in module 3. Once you're done with the film history presentation and my video, my recording, you can then go ahead and complete that assignment. So quiz 1 is due 9/1 by 11:59 p.m. Then for module 4, script and pre-production, quiz 2 and reflection paper 1 are both due 9/8 by 11:59 p.m. So again, make sure that you are keeping note of the due dates. I do not accept late work in this class. You can complete this course as quickly as you'd like, but you can't wait. Does that make sense? So make sure you check in and plan your schedule accordingly for these due dates, because these due dates are what's going to kind of keep you on track. Another thing I want to mention, and again, we'll talk all about this in depth as we go, but most of your assignments, like the quizzes and reflection papers, they should take at the most an hour to 2 hours to complete. So keep that in mind. However, your analysis paper, notice I assign your analysis paper in module 12, and it's not due until December 1st. So make sure you are giving yourself enough time to complete this assignment when you get here. I discussed the paper in depth in module 12, and again, it's due December 1st. So I give you plenty of time here to complete the paper. The paper will take you, probably 1 to 2 weeks to complete. So keep that in mind. Again, you can complete this course however you like, but you need to keep track of the due dates of the assignments. All right. Okay, so just moving my light a little bit here. Okay, I think I mentioned everything out here. And again, my apologies if some of this is repeat from the video I sent out. Also, the last thing I want to mention here, I tried to be as fair to your class as I would for my face-to-face or scheduled online. I actually I took note of how many in-class hours I would have in a normal 16-week course. And it came to about 42.5 hours. So I made sure to adjust the duration of the modules so that they do not exceed that. So just keep in mind, you're doing the same thing you'd be doing face-to-face or scheduled online. Okay. I also want to talk about Canopy. Again, I probably mentioned this in the video I sent out, but just in case, I'm going to talk about it here as well. So Canopy is a free streaming service that you just have to register for, and I'll talk all about this later on. But 3 of our assignments are called punch discussions, which are message boards, which again I'll get into depth later. But you need to actually watch the film that I scheduled for that, and the films are all on Canopy. You watch 3 movies: The Naked Kiss, Lahane, and Leave No Trace. Now, again, to watch the films, you need Canopy to access them. So the punch discussions are message board posts where you have to watch the entire film. Also, make sure to actually watch my video for the punch discussion so I can provide context / explain the primary topics. Each punch discussion will have its own module, okay? And I go over some sort of primer topics and some context for the film. And then I'll say, okay, this is the video. I'm done introducing it. Now go off and watch the film. and then go to the message board to write up your response. Again, I'll go more in depth on this later, but just kind of giving you a preview. This is what I want to focus on. To watch the films that you need to watch for the punch discussions, you have to sign up for Canopy. I created this Canopy walkthrough video, which I have linked in the module, and I probably sent out in the email before class. But let me just kind of show you this really quickly. I'm going to go to our module. Okay, so I'm just going to scroll up top. So again, this is the module we're in today. Let me use my little spotlight. This is the module we're in. We're in module 1. And I linked the Canopy walkthrough video and the Canopy website. I already have these open. Let me go ahead and show you. I know sometimes Zoom has a little bit of difficulty if I don't do a new share screen. So let me just do that really quick. And I'm going to share video. And I won't actually play the whole thing, but I just kind of want to show you the kind of step-by-step process here. So this is the Canopy walkthrough video, which I'll be sending to you. Again, it's linked in the module, and I'm going to just mute it though. This will walk you through the entire process. The website is also linked in the module, so you can just click that to register. And I just kind of walk you through each process. Make sure to follow the instructions. So for example, make sure that you register with MCC. So again, I'm not going to just show you the entire video and talk about it. You can do this on your own, but just follow the steps very carefully, because if you don't register with MCC and you register with like your private library, you'll have a different access. You'll have a limited access to the amount of films and the amount of screenings you can do per film. So please make sure to just do it as per the instructions in the video. And again, I'm not going to play the whole thing, but make sure that you do this as soon as possible. Make sure you're registered with Canopy as soon as possible. So when we get to, I think our first punch discussion is, I'm just looking at my notes here, it's in module 13. So just that by the time we're at module 13, you're ready to participate for those punch discussions and get the points and have access to the films that we're watching in class. Okay, so I'm gonna get out of there for a second. And I'm just going to show you Canopy for a moment. Okay, so this is the Canopy page. All right, notice that I'm already logged in. Just to kind of show you how it works, you just go up to the search tab. All of this is in the video as well, but I'm just doing it again. And you just type in the film that we'd be watching for the punch discussion. So module 13 is The Naked Kiss. So I just type that in. There's the film. Click on it. It's going to bring me to the page for the film. And now Zoom has some like copyright things. So when I press play, you're actually not going to see anything. But to watch the film, you just press play on the player and it will load up in your browser. And there we go. Now, again, you're probably not seeing anything, but it is playing on my end. And that's it. That's Canopy. So again, make sure you have that by module 13 so you can watch the films for the punch discussions, which I'll talk more about later on. But right now, just make sure you're registered and set up for Canopy. You can also get Canopy on like a Roku device. So you don't have to watch it on your computer. If you have like a Roku device, you can do it through there. If you need to, you can also download the mobile app, but if you can, I suggest not watching an entire movie on your phone. It's not going to be the same. Okay, so let's go back. There we go. All right, so that's Canopy. I think that's enough of that. Something very important for this class, even more so than my scheduled online or my face-to-face, is that you stay in communication with me. You know, doing flexible online is a much more responsibility on you. That being said, I tried to organize this to make it as accessible as possible. Complete, I would suggest 1 to 2 modules a week. Again, there's 18 modules, there's 16 weeks, so sometimes you'll have to do more than that. But for the most part, just check in on those modules, complete them as you go, keep your keep context of the due dates and the amount of time that it may take you to complete an assignment. I try to space out the due dates by at least like a week to give you some flexibility there. But make sure you stay in communication. I will post announcements for any updates / reminders on due dates. That being said, assignments are your responsibility to keep track of. I showed you on the syllabus / schedule. All those due dates are listed on there. All the assignments are also open, so you can see when the due dates are for those. I'll show you that in a minute. The schedule explicitly provides when assignments are due. We already talked about that. All the modules tell you when the assignments are due. Make sure to check in with assignment feedback. This is an important one, especially for reflection papers. Okay, so I paused for a second the recording to mess around with the Canvas page a bit to show you what it looks like for feedback. So again, it's very important that you check in on feedback for your assignments, especially for reflection papers and your analysis paper. So I'm going to show you what that looks like. So I'm going to go ahead and share the screen. So again, this is what it's going to mostly look like on your end when you're on our Canvas page. Okay, so I see one of my assignments has just been graded. So I'm going to go over to grades. Now I added this. This is just, I call it test essentially, just to kind of show you. So if I scroll down, I see all my assignments. But here's my test submission that I just did. And I see the little blue circle next to it, which tells me, hey, it's just been graded. There's been some feedback. And if I scroll over, I can see my points. And then next to that, I see these 2 little dialog boxes. And if I click that, now it's going to open up the comments. Normally, my comments are going to be much more in depth than this, but gives you an idea of how to check that. I'll also show you how to submit assignments just in case. Okay, so I just want to show you that. Now let's go back to PowerPoint. Okay, so again, make sure to check in with assignment feedback. I already showed you how to do that. Contact me with any questions you have. This is especially important for us, but my email is zposada@mchenry.edu, or you can just send me a Canvas message. Let me know if anything is confusing, what needs clarification. It's possible that, it's certainly possible that I messed something up on the modules. So let me know. If that happens, I'll, fix it immediately. Also, I have office hours every Friday, 2 to 4 p.m. And those office hours will be through a Zoom session. And I will post the Zoom link as an announcement. And know that I'm in that Zoom session for those 2 hours. So feel free to drop in, ask me questions. Okay. So now that we did that, let's go over what this class actually is. So this is an introduction to film class, but what I sort of emphasize in this class is analysis, and that's kind of the end game for us. I begin the class by just kind of teaching you the formal properties of film, understanding what cinematography is, going into depth on these elements. those are all the formal properties. Again, the first, let's see here, modules 4 all the way to 10 are just going over the formal properties of film and learning them, understanding what goes into the making of a film, into the making of a scene. Once you learn that, then we move into analysis, where now you understand the formal properties, the technical elements of a film, is another way to say it, and you can not only observe them, but start decoding those choices, right? Interpreting how these choices contribute meaning. That's sort of what the goal is in this class. So decoding and interpreting the formal properties for meaning. I'm going to often say terms like the formal choices or the director's use of the formal tools. Then when you start interpreting that, you're going to start linking that to film theory and rhetorical criticism, which again, I'll get into later, and analyzing film to find its meaning and using filmic evidence as support for your interpretation. In addition to that, I also go over screenwriting. The encoding presentation is going to be an overview of how to write a script, providing you free software on how to do that, and an extra credit assignment that goes along with that. And we move into some extra topics like propaganda, satire, animation, in the special topics presentations. All right. And again, we'll get into all of this in depth, but just to kind of give you a preview, the formal elements or formal properties or formal choices or level of encoding or technical elements that we're investigating, that we're going to learn all about, kind of happens on 3 levels: the script, cinematography, and editing. And each one of those has all their own subcategories, which again, we will get into in depth in this class. My suggestion on taking notes for this course, it's the same suggestion I would have if I were doing this face-to-face or scheduled online. Do not write every single thing down on a PowerPoint presentation. You will always have access to these PowerPoints and the PDFs of these PowerPoints as you're completing assignments. So you do not need to memorize this material, right? But you should be familiar with it. So do not write every single thing down. Focus on major concepts and levels of encoding, the formal properties that we're going to talk about. I think what's especially important for this version of the class is you are comfortable coming into the module, sitting down, and watching and participating with that module's video, the recorded lecture. So come in, get comfortable, watch, listen, and participate. If you don't participate, these concepts won't connect. Again, especially important for us. Normally, when I'm teaching this material, I'll show you a video to demonstrate a concept. I'll ask the class questions, and we get to talk about it. Obviously, I'm not able to do that, right? This is a very different, what's the word I'm looking for? Different approach. That being said, I highly recommend that you treat it the same way. So when we get into lectures and presentations and I ask questions, I know it seems weird, but either internally or even just out loud, actually kind of respond with it. If you don't participate, this content's going to be very difficult to comprehend. Resources. You'll always have access to these presentations, my class recordings, and more. I'll talk about the analysis assistance packet when we get to it. But again, just know that you have access to these resources during your assignments. Okay, so I'm going to go over the syllabus. I'm not going to read the entire thing. You can do that on your own time, but there are a few things that I do want to talk about. So I'm going to stop sharing the presentation. I'm going to move over to our syllabus. Actually, before I do that, I just want to highlight one of the changes for MCC. Just give me a second here. So I'm actually going to leave student view. I'm going to share my screen. Okay. Now again, your view, your Canvas page will look a little bit different than this, but it's generally the same. An important thing to note, and I might change the lineup for the sort of navigation tab here. And I'll make sure to post our syllabus in Syllabus, but Canvas moved, well, let me rephrase that. MCC sort of reapproached how we do syllabi for our classes, and now they're all under MCC Syllabus, which again, I might move higher up here, so this might look a little bit different when you get to it. But to check out the syllabus, just click MCC Syllabus, and you'll have access to our syllabus. But also, again, you can always just go to modules. If I could find modules on here, there we go. And module 1 has the PDF for the syllabus on there. So if you want to, look at it online, MCC Syllabus. If you want to check out the PDF, just click it there, and I'll also link it in the syllabus page too. Okay, so I talked about that. Let me actually show you the syllabus and go over it briefly. Okay. So I'm not going to read every single thing on here, but I'm going to go over quite a bit of it. I'm going to use my little annotate tool to keep us on track. So again, this is Introduction to Film, Journalism 180, 005 is our section. Meeting times. I'm not going to read this verbatim, but again, we do not have scheduled meetings. That's probably why you took this class, is so you don't have to come at certain days. So this is a flexible online class. There are no required meeting times. Instead, you're going to be using the modules. So each module will contain a video with me presenting the topic. It's going to be just like this, where I'm sharing screens, I'm going through the presentation, I'm going to be showing you a lot of clips from movies, and we'll be talking about them. Each module will contain a video with me presenting a topic, a PowerPoint, and a PDF of the presentation, an assignment if it relates, and any other links. It is critical that you watch and participate with the prompts in my video, in the recording, the presentation, the Zoom recording, however you want to phrase it, but the module video, I should say. I'll probably just call them like lecture video. That might be our word for it in the modules. Okay. The class begins on 8/18/2020 and ends on 12/11/2020. That being said, your last assignment is due 12/8. Okay, that's when your last assignment is due, which is your final punch discussion. But just so you know, the class will begin from 8/18/2020. That's when everything will be available to you. You can start immediately, and you could work through however quickly as you'd like. All the assignments are open, the modules are open. The only thing is the modules will have not prerequisites, because that's different, but requirements where you'll have to view, say, like the lecture video from the previous module to move on to the next. But that being said, you can access this content on 8/18/2020 and move through it however quickly as you'd like. Again, I introduced myself at the start, but my name is Zach Posada. I'm the instructor. My email is zposada@mchenry.edu. I also have my phone number. I prefer if you email me first. Office hours, Fridays 2 to 4 p.m. There'll be a Zoom session, which again, I'll post as an announcement. Can it be a requirement? There's no required textbook. You'll see this in the actual lectures and presentations of class content, but I use many textbooks and a lot of resources that I credit in each presentation, and I don't require you to have a textbook. Our textbook are the presentations, essentially. So there's no required textbook. However, you must have a steady internet connection in order to work through the modules remotely. Also, there is a canopy requirement. I already talked all about this. Again, you can go to the walkthrough video through the link that I posted here. The canopy website is there. I'm not going to read over the description and objectives. I kind of already mentioned our approach, and we will execute each one of these course outline objectives, but that's for you if you want to read that. So yeah, I'm just going to kind of move through that. That's a lot to go through. And I kind of already gave you a preview of what we're doing. Okay, evaluation. The total points in this class is out of 1,000 points. And I break down each category. So quizzes, you have 5 quizzes, each are 40 points, which is, let me just rephrase that, which adds up to 200 points. So 20% of your grade. There are 3 reflection papers, 70 points each, 210 points. Punch discussions, which are just discussion boards, which again, I will talk about all of these assignments as we get to them. But the discussion boards, there are 3 total discussions, 80 points each, 240 points. Then we move into your largest assignment, which is the analysis paper. It's out of 350 points, 35% of your grade. These points all come to 1,000. Okay, so it's pretty easy to calculate A, B, C, or D, which I have down here. And there are a couple of extra credit opportunities along the way. There'll be an extra credit and coding assignment, which I'll talk about in module 17. Yep, module 17. And if you decide to do your analysis paper on a companion film, which I'll give you the list to, we'll talk all about that later, then you'll receive a 1 letter grade boost on your analysis paper. Okay, some policies I want to talk about. Again, I do not accept late work. Now, if there's a knock on wood medical emergency or something happens that really sort of, what's what I'm looking for, derails your process for this class, obviously let me know. Keep communication open. But for the most part, I do not accept late work. All the course content will be available to you upon the first day of class, August 18th. Assignments will have fixed due dates. Again, the assignment due dates are really the only things that are keeping you on track. So again, and we'll get back to that assignment schedule, but make sure you're keeping on track of that. Okay, this is an important one that I need to go over. And again, it's kind of different for us because it's going to be all remote. So notice of content. Before I kind of read this verbatim, my lectures and presentations, I show a lot of clips from movies. Again, these clips are going to demonstrate certain concepts that we're talking about, and some of those clips may be explicit. So I'm letting you know now. So not only is it the films that we watch in class, but also the clips that we're going to be seeing within presentations. So notice of content. I always start with this quote from Catherine Bigelow, who directed The Hurt Locker, Zero Dark 30, Point Break, the original. But she says, those of us who work in the arts know that depiction is not endorsement. If it was, no artist would be able to paint inhumane practices, no author could write about them, and no filmmakers could delve into the thorny subjects of our time. Now, again, normally in class, I'd say, what do you guys think that means? What is Catherine Bigelow talking about? Okay, there's your pause. What I think Catherine Bigelow is talking about, films and the films that we watch in class and the clips that we see are depicting heavy content that is possibly controversial. And it's, no matter how sort of profane or upsetting those clips are, know that often the filmmakers are not condoning that behavior, not condoning the action that we're seeing, but instead they're depicting it to comment on it, to critique it, to have the audience connect with it in some other way, to question it. And we'll talk all about that stuff later on. So I just kind of want to prime us with that idea. So the films and clips that will be viewed in this class will contain explicit content, including violence, sex, nudity, drug use, crude humor and comments, adult content, profanity, and etc. Additionally, the subject matter of these films and clips may be controversial, with themes and depictions that are associated with misogyny, toxic masculinity, racism, police brutality, sexual assault, crime, war, atrocities, sexuality, and more. Even though these films deal with controversial content, our duty is to understand the context of these decisions and what the filmmaker is trying to communicate by exploring these topics. You do not have to agree with the filmmakers, your fellow students, or my perspective on a film and the content depicted in it. However, this class asks you to be an empathetic listener and help foster a safe and open learning environment where everyone can freely share their ideas. This is especially important when we get to the message boards for the punch discussions, where all of you are going to be sort of voicing your interpretations of the films that we watch in class. That being said, I am sensitive to the environment of the class, and if you find the theme/content offensive in any way, please let me know. Additionally, every film that will be screened will be listed with its MPA rating and rating reason below. And if the film does not have an MPA rating or a rating reason stated, then I will note film content via Common Sense Media. If the information is not available, I will do my best to approximate rating reasons for a film. So again, I want to be very clear. In addition to these 3 films, we are watching many clips, okay? Now those clips are going to kind of go back to my first line here, right? These are going to be R-rated clips. That being said, I think it's important to give you information on the films that we're watching. So these are the 3 films that we're watching for our punch discussions. Notice The Naked Kiss and Lahane both do not have MPA ratings, but I list the content that's depicted within the films. And if any of these, are troubling, please let me know. Send me an email and we could talk about it. The only film that does have an MPA rating is Leave No Trace. And again, I give you the rating and also rating description. All right, so that's notice of content. Starting on module 3, I believe, is when we enter, let me rephrase that. Starting with module 3 is when we sort of enter into the notice of content, right? By the time you're in module 3, that's the time when you're comfortable with this, that you may be seeing explicit content. Okay. Writing assignments. College level work will be expected on all assignments. Grammar, spelling, and style will influence your grade. Writing assignments must be typed, double spaced, 12-point Times New Roman font, 1-inch margins. All writing assignments will be turned in on Canvas via the appropriate assignment folder in .doc/.docx file formats. We'll go over that later today. Also, your analysis paper must include proper MLA citation format, including in-text citations on a works cited page. We'll talk all about this stuff later on. Also, just a quick note, the in-text citations things for your analysis paper is actually not true. You don't need that, but you do need a works cited page, which again, we will talk all about in depth later on. But for now, just know all of your writing assignments, this is important, must be submitted in .doc or .docx file formats. Do not submit your writing assignments in Pages or any other word processor file format. Okay, plagiarism. Plagiarism will not be tolerated under any circumstances. If any aspect of an assignment is plagiarized, a student will immediately receive 0 points for the assignment. The instructor reserves the right to drop the student from the course with a grade of F and submit to the college for disciplinary action. Pretty self-explanatory. The assignments that we do in this class are so personal because a lot of it is going to be you interpreting stuff, and that's all from you. So it's pretty difficult to plagiarize. That being said, I always have, a few that will happen. I've been teaching this class for 2 years now. I've had a few papers that have been plagiarized, and it's easy to spot it because, again, it's pretty clear when I'm reading someone else's interpretation. So just don't plagiarize. Again, this is, I think, a relatively easy class. Maybe I shouldn't phrase it like that. But if you put in, as long as you sort of participate and engage with the content, this will be an easy class and hopefully a fulfilling one. All right. Respect. Talking/chat and respect. Please be respectful to other students and myself. The discussion boards will be treated like in-class discussion. You will use appropriate and ethical language and keep discourse to class-related topics. Additionally, this class will not tolerate bullying in any of its forms. This class welcomes all students and their unique perspectives. We will treat one another with respect, empathy. Excuse me. We will treat one another with respect and empathy. And this carries over to class discussions. There's never a wrong reading or interpretation of a film. You may not agree with someone's interpretation, and that's okay. But neither you nor I have the right to ridicule and or judge someone's interpretation. Inappropriate messages will receive a verbal warning, and if it happens again, there'll be a -50 penalty to your grade. Again, pretty self-explanatory, but when we get to the discussion boards where we are, interacting with everybody in this class, please keep your messages, ethically responsible, which I'll talk about later on when I introduce the punch discussions. Attendance policy. There is no attendance policy for this class. I don't know if I have anything else to say about that, right? This is flexible online. It's up to you on how you want to work through it. Again, I've said this like 10 times now, but the only thing that you need to keep track of are assignment due dates. All right. So I don't think I'm going to read that verbatim. Interpretation. This is something I always usually end with, but I'm going to also talk about the schedule, so I don't know why I put it here. So, but also go over it right now. So this is a quote from Martin Scorsese. If you're familiar, it's a guy who made Casino, Goodfellas, Wolf of Wall Street. But he says, good films by real filmmakers aren't made to be decoded, consumed, or instantly comprehended. They're not even made to be instantly liked. They're just made because the person behind the camera had to make them. Martin Scorsese. Now, I'm going to talk about this quote in a second, but just so you know, we actually are decoding films. That's exactly what we're doing. We're using rhetorical criticism to decode a film and reach an explanation for the film. That being said, keep this in mind. I think what's important here is that there's not a correct answer, right? Your interpretation on the sort of thematic objective or what the film is trying to say, what's the message of the film, that's up to you. There's no correct answer. That's up to you. It's your interpretation. As long as you use the tools, the formal properties to properly decode the film and use that as support for your interpretation, then your interpretation is valid. So keep that in mind. Okay, withdrawing from a class. I'm not going to read this whole thing, but again, all the information is here if you ever need to withdraw the class. But the last day of withdrawal from this course is 11/13/2020. All right, I do want to go over the schedule very briefly. Again, I kind of already did this, but the syllabus has the schedule, I think, very clearly organized, telling you each module, what's the subject of the module, and what assignment is then assigned in that module and when it's due. So again, the first assignment you have is in module 3. Once you complete the film history lecture video, quiz 1 is then assigned, and you have till 9/1 by 11:59 p.m. to complete it. Again, keep track of the assignments. That's really the only thing that's holding you, accountable, I guess, of completing the modules. I'm not going to suggest how to do this, but if I were taking this class, I'd probably just kind of look at the due dates for assignments and go, okay, I see the first one is due 9/1, so I need to probably block off, consider hour and a half, 2 hours, 50 minutes to, I'm sorry, let me rephrase that. But to schedule enough time from August 18th to 9/1 that I can complete these modules and do the quiz. So again, just use this as a sort of a base. Okay, I don't think I have much else to say here. Notice some of these have quizzes and reflection papers. Sometimes you'll have quizzes and reflection papers both due for a module. And also just to sort of reinforce, if you see sort of like a gap, so like for example, quiz 3, reflection paper 2, it's pretty clear that it's going to be on cinematography primer, cinematography 5 elements, cinematography, and cinematography in production. Does that make sense? So whenever you see sort of like a space between subjects, know that it's going to be responsible for all of it, because it takes 3 modules to kind of go through cinematography altogether. And then you have assignments due 9/29. Again, I tried to space out these assignments, so it gives you some flexibility here. Okay. Also, just kind of take note, once the analysis paper is assigned, which is on module 12, and it's due 12/1, the only assignments that you have are your punch discussions, which you essentially do, you would sort of do in class, is sort of the idea. So you come into the module, listen to the primer presentation, go off and do the screening, and then put in your commentary. Again, I'll go over this in depth, but it shouldn't take you, from watching the primer presentation, watching the movie, and writing up your brief interpretation. It should take you a class period, right? Typical class period for this class, if we're meeting once a week, is 2 hours and 50 minutes. So again, the idea is you sort of complete these in class. So really the final assignment that you're doing outside of class in a way is the analysis paper, and I try to give you plenty of time here. Okay, I think that's it on that. Again, please let me know if you have questions. Email me, send me Canvas messages. I will let you read the rest of this content. One thing I do want to read very clearly is academic support for special population students. MCC values an inclusive learning environment for all students, and those seeking academic adjustments or accommodations should call or visit the Access and Disability Services Office located in room A260 in the atrium area of A building. Students seeking information about disability services at MCC should call 815-455-8766 or visit this website. You can read academic integrity, general education goals, all this stuff on your own. We talked about our sort of classroom behavior, but some additional statements. The non-discrimination statement, again, we sort of talked about using ethical language in class. Okay, again, you guys can kind of read that. Here's a bunch of resources you have access to from MCC. All right, so I think that's about it for the syllabus. I'm going to stop the share on that. I'm going to go back to our PowerPoint. Okay, so I went over the syllabus, went over the schedule. I kind of already did this, so I'm not going to spend a ton of time on this. But let me go back to our Canvas page just so you have an idea. So again, this is our Canvas page. This is essentially what it'll look like. But let me actually get into student view so you know exactly what it would look like. If it'll go. There we go. So this is what it's going to look like on your end. Again, when you come in, the home page are your modules. You work one module at a time. Watch the video, which will be linked in here. It'll be very clear. They'll say module video or module lecture video. Again, they don't have them right now, but they will be in there. Then notice there's assignments linked in each module when you have assignments due. You can also always go to assignments, and all the assignments are listed. Notice they're not available until August 18th at 12 a.m. Okay, I think that's all I got to say about that. Announcements, just to be clear, sometimes I'll post announcements. I didn't post any yet, so you're not seeing the announcements tab, but there will be an announcements tab on there. And I'll probably do that, like, probably before an assignment is due, just to kind of keep you up to date. But again, your responsibility to keep track of that. Do not rely on those announcements. But whenever I have major communications send out, I'll post them on there. Same thing with the Zoom session office hours. Also, if you check out files, this is where I have everything organized. You can always go back to presentations and they're all labeled. But again, you don't have to, right? It's all linked in the modules. I tried to make it as cleanly organized as possible. And let me actually get out of student view so I can show you an assignment description. So just for example, I'm going to go to your first reflection paper. So reflection paper 1. And also, if you notice, I try to organize your assignments very cleanly. Quizzes, all the quizzes. Reflection papers, all the reflection papers. Punch discussion, all the discussions. Analysis paper, extra credit. But let's just go to the first reflection paper. And if I click this, and again, I'll go over this assignment when we actually even get there. But just notice you have assignment descriptions and also resource links to that module's presentation. Same thing for like your analysis paper, which again, we'll talk all about this stuff in depth. I'm just showing you that resources are linked so you don't have to, try messing around with files or anything like that. So you have the assignment description requirements, and then all of the presentations are linked, the analysis assistance sheet, other resources. So just keep that in mind. Okay. So I think that's that. I already talked about the quizzes and how that anything from that module and prior is fair game. All right, writing requirements. I talked about this already, but .doc/.docx files only. I expect college level writing, complete sentences, spelling, grammar, no slang. MLA format, double spaced, use a running header page number and a complete left corner. Excuse me. I'm gonna actually show you how to do this. I always have some students, I don't know what access you have. You might not have Microsoft Word. So I'm gonna show you very quickly how to format a document and how to submit it into Campus. So I'm gonna go ahead and do that now. Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and share my screen here. So I'm going to do mine in Google Docs. So just go to Google, DOCS. And as long as you have the Gmail, you can use Google Docs. That's what I'm going to use here. Go to Google Docs. And I just kind of want to show you how to format a page, how to download it, how to submit it. I'm going to go to blank. I'm going to go ahead and title my paper now. So just up here where it says untitled document, I will call this test, right? This is just a test submission. And I'm going to go ahead and format the document now. So I'm going to change my font size to 12, change my font type to Times New Roman, and let's go ahead and take care of double spaced format, line spacing, double. All right, so now let's actually organize this paper. So for a running header, it's just going to be your last name and page number. So to do that, you're going to go up to Insert, Page Numbers, and choose this one here, which has it in the right corner and that the numbers become sort of sequential. So I hit that, it's going to create that header for me. notice your cursor comes behind the page number. Go ahead and just click in front of the page number or use your arrow key and type your last name. So I'm going to do, just so it's not confusing, I'm going to do Pistachio as my fake last name, space. Then double click in the body. Now you have your running header. So if you were to write onto the second page, it will automatically go into Pistachio 2 for a running header. All right, so now let's organize the left corner here in MLA format. I'm going to go ahead, I just clicked my cursor over here, but I'm going to go ahead and just hit enter. And I'm going to type my name. Again, this is my fake name. Hit enter. And I always have to kind of go back to remind myself because sometimes I forget, but I'm pretty sure it's the instructor name after that. Yes, instructor name. So, instructor name, Zach Posada, enter, class, enter the date. Usually they ask for the due date, but you can just do the date that you're writing the paper is fine. Enter, and I'm just gonna give myself another space just to give me a little bit more room. Tab, start writing the paper. This is my paper. Okay, so you actually write your reflection paper, and this is, I'll talk more in depth on how the analysis paper should be formatted, but for the reflection paper, this is totally fine. Also, the reflection papers can be more informal. You could even write in the first person. The analysis paper is going to ask more from you, but this is totally fine for the reflection papers. Okay, let me just make sure I'm not missing anything else. I'm not. Okay, that's fine. I didn't put the section. You might want to do that. Okay, so let's say I'm all done with my paper. Great. Now I need to export it because right now it's just a web document. So to do that, and I'm doing this on a PC, so it's a little bit different for like a Mac, but similar process. So you need to go to File, Download, and here you go. So this is important, right? You have all these different options. Make sure you choose Microsoft Word .docx. Now when you do that, on if you have like a recent Windows, your downloads will show up on the bottom. And to locate that file, just click the 3 dots here, show in folder. There's my document, test. Also, if you're working with Windows, if you just go to downloads, you'll see your most recent document. And you can move that however you like. If you want to copy and paste it to your desktop, if you want to leave it in downloads, you can do that. You can copy and paste it in your documents folder, which is what I'm going to do. So I'm just going to click my download test, Control C to copy it, go to my documents, Control V, try that again, Control V. Well, that's not working. I was so confident as I was doing it too. So let's try that again. Control C, documents, Control V. There we go. Test. Now it's in my documents folder. And now you're seeing all of my documents. Okay. So I'm back in Google Docs. I did my paper. It's downloaded on my computer from Google Docs. Now I need to submit it. So I'm going to actually stop the share for a second. And I'm going to just go ahead and share the Canvas page. There we go. All right, so we're back on our Canvas page. I'm going to go ahead and submit my assignment. So to do that, I'm going to go to Assignments. I just did my test assignment, which again won't even be there, right? This is just to show you. And also, if it ever comes through like this, where it's all sort of disorganized, always click Show by Type, and it'll organize it back in its subcategories. Okay, so I'm going to go down to Test. There's my assignment. Now again, I showed you what most assignments would look like, right? There will be assignment description, there will be links. But to actually submit the assignment, all you're going to do is go up to Submit Assignment, and you're going to have a kind of a link on the bottom here. and you want to upload your file. So hit choose file, go to your documents or your downloads or wherever you put your document from Google Docs, and then double click. So I have test, there it is. It is attached. Now I just need to submit the assignment, hit submit. There we go. So my assignment has been submitted. Also, sorry, I have something in my eye. I have multiple submissions for all of our assignments. So, if you decide, oh, I forgot to, put in this last paragraph, you can always just go to resubmit assignment and just submit a new one, a new version, I should say, and I'll grade the latest version. Okay, so that's submitting assignments on Canvas. Also quizzes, just to be clear, yes, I want to leave that. Quizzes, they're locked right now. Again, it's not open until August 18th, and I'm recording this on August 10th. What did I want to say? Are multiple choice. So literally you just click the quiz, hit start quiz, and just answer the questions. It's just multiple choice. It'll show you one question at a time. Okay. So leaves. Whoa, I don't want to leave student view, but I do want to stop sharing. Okay. All right, so we did all of that. Also, some suggestions for writing. The Writing Center is open, so if you ever need help with writing, you can access the Writing Center at this website. I'll also have all of these links in the analysis paper description, because that's when the writing is going to be a little bit more heavily weighted in comparison to just the reflection papers. But I also have links for Grammarly, which I highly recommend using. It's free, and you can do it in as a browser, or you can download it if you have like Microsoft Word. I use it all the time. It helps me a lot. Google Docs, I just showed you how to use that. This is a big one, and I'm not going to spend a ton of time doing it because it'll take like 5 minutes. But if you did not download Microsoft Office from MCC, I highly recommend that you do. I didn't know we had access to, again, I've been teaching here for 2 years, and I didn't know we had access to this until maybe like a month ago. But if you're an MCC student, you can download Microsoft Office onto your computer, the Office suite, for free. And I have the link right here. And again, this link is also in the analysis paper description. So I highly recommend you check out that link and download the package. It's about $70 a year otherwise, if you want Microsoft Office. So highly recommend that while you're a student, download this and install it onto your computer. Okay. Also important, obviously this is outdated. The room number I read over on the syllabus is the accurate one. But this is important, right? Academic support for special population students. I already talked about contacting the Access and Disability Services Service Office. But in addition to that, also please let me know privately for whatever accommodations you need. I'm going to make this very clear. You will not be required to disclose your disability, only your accommodations. Why this is important, and I don't know how explicit this is made to students, but instructors will receive paperwork, but it's instructed that the student has to contact us with whatever accommodations they need. And I am more than happy to do that, but you do need to let me know of what accommodations you need. And again, there's no need to ever disclose, your disability or anything like that to me, but I just need to know your accommodations. So feel free to email me to let me know. Okay, I already talked about that. All right, so that's it for our first session, our first module recording. I know this wasn't the most exciting one, but once we actually get into the class and I start showing videos and we start actually engaging with the content, I promise they will get better and more entertaining, hopefully. All right, that's it. I will see you in Module 2. as I awkwardly try to find how to stop recording. There we go. All right. Goodbye.